Hey, I'm really excited about this video because I have always been a one-handed backhand type hitter, and Xavier has perfected. He's really good at the two-handed backhand. So he's gonna show me at length how to hit the two-handed backhand in this video, both ground strokes, dinks, and volleys. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Xavier, and this is my dad, and we help players go from being stuck at the 3-0 and 3-5 level to becoming confident and respected 4-0 pickleball players, so that way they can finally feel confident in their performance, have more fun, and play with the higher level players in their community.
Okay, like I mentioned, I've always been a one-handed backhand kind of guy. Tennis, everything, just felt more comfortable for me. But I know that using the two-handed backhand, particularly at the kitchen, is gonna help me disguise my balls better. I can't disguise my dinks or my volleys one-handed. You know what's coming, but you can kind of disguise it with your, your shallow backswing.
Yeah.
And the two-hand makes it look like you might be dinking, you might be speeding it up, and so I want to get better at it. So anyway, with that, let's start with the grip.
Yeah. So
tell me a little bit about the grip and the swing.
In terms of grip, I'll talk to these guys really quick. So grip is going to be continental on both of your hands. So as you know, continental grip, you have side 1, side 2, which is the one in between, and then side 3 is this flat one right here. Your pointer finger knuckle is going to go on side number 2 for your front hand. And then your pointer finger knuckle is going to go, I guess you could call this side 4. It's the other corner on the other side of the paddle, right there, pointer finger knuckle. And then if you want, so yeah, go ahead and adjust your grip there.
Okay.
If you want to, I don't like to overlap my hands, so what I do is typically I just take a lot more off of the end of the paddle.
I see.
Like
Give
that.
yourself more space.
Give yourself more space. That way you can just put both of your hands right on top of each other like that. Okay. What I'm talking about is there's a little bit of extra space down there. That's okay. Because this hand, the extra hand, adds the stability, so you don't got to worry about that. Okay. Finger on the back if you want to. I like to do it because I feel like I have more control over the paddle face that way. In terms of disguise at the kitchen line, I feel like I have more maneuverability with my wrist if I'm able to have my finger on the back. Up to you on what you want to do. Okay. It's really just a personal preference thing. When it comes to hitting two-handed backhands, motion is similar to one-handed backhand. The difference is your follow-through is not way up here. You have to have that second hand on there. And so you take your paddle back, you step into the ball just like you would with one hand. The difference is more brushing motion here, back to forth plow through, and the contact point is a little bit farther back. So with one-handed, you're contacting
way
the
out
ball
front,
way out here. With two, it's a little bit farther
knee,
back.
Basically.
Yeah, because your second hand restricts that movement.
Yeah.
So contacting a little bit farther back in your stance, and then following through up to your shoulder here. That'll give you kind of the revolution, topspin revolution that you want. So to demonstrate, this is kind of what it looks like. You step into the ball and just kind of come through the ball like that, as opposed to taking it out in front.
Okay, I might look like a fool, but why don't you feed me some balls
we'll
and see
go
what
ahead
we can do.
and give you a couple. So I'll just hand feed you from here. I'm just gonna bounce it, step into the ball. I'll go from right here. Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Right there. Go get it. That's okay. So a little low, yeah. So just basically, instead of brushing so much, give it a little more back to forth.
Okay.
Right there. Go get it. Better. Yeah, that's really good. There you go. Margin over the net is good too. Go get it. Nice.
I'm feeling better actually, that one.
It looks good, yeah. The only thing is just gonna be practice. Eventually you're gonna want to dial that in where your drive is lower to the net. That just takes repetition and drilling. We'll work on that at some point. But yeah, that's how you would hit a two-handed backhand ground stroke. From there, we'll move on to dinks.
Let's be honest, pickleball is a pretty simple game when you get down to it, but there are thousands of hours on YouTube. Maybe you did private lessons, maybe you did group coaching. Everybody's telling you something different. That's why we created the 4-0 Accelerator. The 4-0 Accelerator is a systematic, step-by-step process if you're a 3-0 or a 3-5 player that wants to get to 4-0, 4-5, and 5-0, and you know that you have the potential to do it. If that's where you're at and you feel stuck where you're at right now, I want you to click the link down in the description, book a call with us. We'll see where you're at, and if we can help you, and if we can, we'll invite you to be part of that program. So talk to me about dinking. I know this is gonna be a lot harder for me. How do I get accuracy with the two-handed backhand? Show me the grip, show me everything.
Yeah, so the dinking, because it's such it's more technical shot, there's a lot more at stake, like you were saying. You have to make it, just give yourself a lot of opportunity, create areas to miss if you can. So create a lot of margin for yourself. In terms of grip, same continental grip. This is one where if you don't put a finger on the back, I might recommend that you do it just because it gives you wrist mobility.
I didn't with the ground stroke because I kind of wanted more power. I felt like the finger on the back was limiting me.
Sure.
But I think on this one, for control, because it's just a slow, a shorter motion.
Yeah.
I might have my finger there. So
yeah, and it gives you the mobility. It gives you the ability to just do a lot more with your shot. It makes it more. Okay. It helps you with disguise, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and so with this shot, again, emphasis on getting low, bending your knees, and keeping the ball in the center of your body. So when you're hitting it, the second you let the ball extend beyond the center and you're going into this territory here, not good, right? Because now you're trying to scoop around the outside of the ball. Yeah. the farther it gets away from you, the less
You're off
you
balance,
have.
you're gonna pop it up, all that stuff.
Not good.
Yeah.
Bad news.
So control, you have to make contact center right if we're in the backhand dinking.
Yeah, exactly. And so the way that
Yeah.
you do that, just to ensure that that happens, is you have to just be more diligent with your shuffle side to side.
Yeah.
And then once you hit it, recovering back to the middle is important too.
So with the shuffle and with getting low, if you're somebody that struggles with mobility or you have bad knees or something like that, this might be a difficult shot for you, because it is crucial. If you've watched some of the pros in their dinking, two-handed backhand dinks, James Ignatowicz, they're low, they're down here.
Yeah.
So if that's gonna be hard for you to do, then this might not be the shot for you. But anyway, we're demonstrating.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
there's adaptability ways to do that too.
Okay.
In terms of the actual swinging motion, it's not a large swing. So if you watch me do it here, it's not like I'm taking my paddle back and I'm doing this big, thing to get the ball to dip that way. Really, the idea is you just have to get underneath the ball, hit up on it just a little bit, and then hope that with that motion that you're hitting low to high, the spin will bring it back down.
Okay.
So you're here, you open up your paddle face just ever so slightly. You start low, as your legs start to come up, you start to swing with your shoulders. It's no wrists, it's not this, it's with your shoulders this way.
Okay.
That just gives you lots of control that way. The second you start to add your wrists, it just becomes flimsy and weird, and you have to be perfect. So like that, get underneath the ball and then just guide it in the direction that you want to go.
All right, let's give it a try. I suspect, don't laugh at me. I suspect there's gonna be a lot of pop-ups.
Yeah.
I suspect there's gonna be a lot of things in the net. I'm figuring this out for the first time, so give me a little bit of grace. But Xavier's gonna talk me through it as I'm hitting these balls.
Perfect. And remember, this is something we always like to say, slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Slow is smooth.
You don't have to swing fast. Fast is not good in this shot.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Just feed me some balls.
Boom. Good.
All right.
So that's the idea.
Felt like a little harder than I wanted it to be, but let's...
Yeah, a little harder, and then open up your paddle face a little more.
Okay.
The reason that went in the net is because it was closed.
Okay.
So open it up just a smidge more. Yep.
That's a little high, slimeable.
A little high and
here we
slammable.
go.
Yep, exactly.
Keep feeding me.
How's your grip pressure? Good.
It's pretty soft. I'd say 5.
Okay, cool, nice. That's what we want. Good, good. That's exactly it. One more here. Yeah, that's the idea. You're getting the hang of it. One altercation that I might make right now, what you have is your paddle really parallel, like this, like kind of pointed. Try and angle it up this way. That's gonna help you kind of get up and over the ball.
That's very slammable.
Yep, that's okay. So
that's my paddle head up, so let's keep going.
Paddle head up.
More.
One more thing, your swing is too far back. So just swing a little bit, start at like your knee and swing shorter.
Okay.
Here we go, right here. Shorter, yeah.
Ooh, that's an around
wide,
the post setup.
That's all right, a little bit. There you go, that's
like
great.
that one.
Right
That
there,
one feels
here
good.
we go. One more just like that. Yeah, there you go, perfect.
So you can tell I'm gonna take weeks to figure this out, but we'll spare you that. That's good enough for now for the dinks.
There we go.
All right, this is the sexy part of the two-handed backhand, the put-away shot, right? The boom, one and done. Show me how to have some power with this shot.
Yeah, so this is...
Also, I think my problem is, like, with one hand, I'm there quickly. I think that I need to get in the I don't know, having that second hand seems a little confusing for me.
Sure.
When I'm trying to put a ball away or when I'm trying to volley with two hand and then also get in the ready position after that. So I don't know, walk me through that.
Yeah, so in terms of how you want this to look, it's not to say that it's gonna replace your one-handed volley. One-handed volleys are great for blocks. They're great for just being quick out in front of you. This is like a put-away shot. If you have some extra time, you have some time to take a backswing and like take this really nice big put-away volley, that's kind of what this shot is for. So in order to do this, again, same grip, continental, same way that you've been doing it for the other two. With this one, you don't need to get turned or really adjust yourself. You want to set your feet early, meaning if the ball is floating, right, get to your position early so that way when it's time to hit, your feet are set. You don't have to worry about it. Okay,
so feet are still in line in the kitchen. We're not actually adjusting feet, right? Are we pivoting?
No, so it's not this to then hit like a swinging volley ground stroke.
Exactly.
People do that. I don't know if you should. Like, it's not necessarily
if you have a lot of extra time to do that, fine. But make sure you're in the ready position afterwards.
Yeah, that, and also it's just, it makes that whole motion really complicated.
Okay, so.
To make it simpler, I like to just stand square to the net here. I bring my paddle out in front, and then it's really just as simple as taking it back and bringing it forward. You don't need to worry about topspin so much. That's something that like really trips people up with this one. It doesn't need to be a topspin shot.
Yeah, we're hitting down on the ball.
We're hitting down on the ball, exactly. So it's kind of just like a counter, flat, and you just slap it back at them this way. I like to keep, again, paddle tip towards the sky. This way, kind of similar to the dink. The reason I like to do that is because it allows me to really get this kind of whipping action into it here, if that makes sense. it's gonna feel weird.
All right, let's try it. Let's demonstrate. Yeah. And I'm guessing I'm gonna look pretty stupid on this one, so don't make fun of me.
That's okay. Yeah, so it's just the important emphasis is this isn't a ground stroke. You're not like, it's not like you're hitting it here. It's a different shot. You're using your torso to kind of swing through it like that. So I'm gonna feed one, it's gonna be high.
Hold on, this motion?
Yeah, that's the idea. Yep, and then don't worry, like if we find it's too spinny, then we'll adjust your
Oh my gosh, I feel dumb.
Here we go. What's wrong with that?
I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that.
A little bit.
Boom! No, what's wrong with that? There's nothing
I don't know. Let's see if I can go down the line.
That's great.
That's out of bounds,
that's the issue. So when you want to change direction,
a little high. I don't know. For me, that would be an easy forehand.
Sure, but it's hard to go down the line like that without adjusting your wrist. So that's one where if you're trying to go down the line, opening up your wrist here and then having topspin is going to make that easy.
So two-hand, are you saying two-hand naturally? I'm going middle.
Naturally, just because your second hand is going to want to bring your body this way.
Okay, I mean, that's good to know.
It's going to be.
I'm not trying to put it down the line, I guess, with the shot. Okay.
If you want to put it down the line, I would just recommend one-handed.
One-handed, yeah, it's easy.
Flick there.
Okay, give me a couple more.
That's what we're going for here.
Okay.
So that's the too spinny aspect of it, right?
Okay.
So instead of low to high, just back to fourth.
Okay.
Here we go. Yeah, that's it, exactly. Okay, one more just like that. Boom, okay.
Okay, it feels natural going cross court. I mean,
that's the easiest place to put it for sure. Middle's good too, but that's a great way just to like get the ball down at somebody's feet.
Yeah.
It's helpful because you're able to hit a flat ball that way. Whereas if you're using one hand and you're trying to like flick it down at their feet, sometimes it's too spinny, it's too slow. If you want to hit it harder, two hands is kind of the way to go.
All right, that wasn't bad, but let me tell you, when I'm learning my two-handed backhand, I'm gonna make a ton of mistakes, and mistakes are okay. In fact, that's why we created a PDF just for you that you can download by clicking the link down in the description. It's gonna be the 5 most common mistakes on the pickleball court and how to repair them. If you're finding that you're stuck at the 2-5, 3-0, 3-5 level, and you're finding that the balls are going in the net, or they're getting popped up, so your opponents are hitting them, this PDF is gonna be perfect for you. Down in the description, click the link, 5 most common pickleball mistakes, and how to repair them. Go ahead and click that and download that. If you're all about getting better at pickleball, you know it takes reps. I got some reps in here for the two-handed backhand, but we also want you to get reps in other parts of the game. That's why we created another video, 5 drills that are gonna help you with all aspects of your game. If you wanna watch that, go ahead and click the video up in the corner.
Xavier, and this is my dad, and we help players who are struggling at the 3-0 and 3-5 level go to become, here we go.
Let's be honest. On that call, we'll see where you're at. We'll diagnose if that is not diagnose, you dummy.